says it takes a village to raise a child. When a child gets in trouble in the village, that child's or the person in the village, he's sort of everyone gathers around and he's kind of judged by his community. There's a lot of shaming in that, and it's the shame that makes you not want to do that again, whatever you did. And in the court system, you're just given a number, and you have like 3 seconds in front of the judge, and then you're put back into a cell, or you're released, and there's no sense of shame. There's no sense of impact. And it's important that I think the Pact program works with youth is because that's when the brain is still developing, especially the frontal cortex, which is empathy. And if you can't feel for someone else's feelings, that's a really important thing to learn. And it comes from in your family. And if you're not learning that, then where else are you going to learn it? In the schoolyard? Nah, right? So there's a process of learning that the schools can't do, and there's a process that certainly the courts won't do. So this is a way for youth who have made mistakes or might need a chance.
I'm Ben Marshall. I'm the Director of Program Development for Pact. I work with the founder pretty closely, and I work on all areas of the program to make it better through continuous improvement. I create policies, I market the program, I create partnerships, and do many different things. When I had this opportunity to work with Pact, it was huge for me because being able to apply what I studied to a real job to help people is you can't put a price on that. But if your money is what motivates you, don't get caught up in this kind of job. So it's really changed my life because it's made my life way more meaningful. It's also allowed me to do a bunch of other things. I make documentary films, and I'm actually about to launch. I'll show you guys in a minute this product my friend invented. It's a snack for smartphones. So I'm subsidizing my Pact income with some of this jobs. So it gives me a lot of flexibility to do other things I want to do. Well, sometimes not having an office is difficult because there's not a lot of place for collaboration. And a lot of what organizations do is you have to get together and brainstorm and feed off each other. So that's one thing I miss, not having a place where we get together. I have a lot of conference calls and Skype calls and stuff, but not having that meeting. We're actually, hopefully in the next few years, we're actually going to have a dedicated place, which will be really weird for me having started working in an office again, because I've been working in an office for 10 years. I like working from home, but the downfall again is not having a collaborating brainstorming place. We are a program that we don't have a lot of bureaucracy. We have basic policies and procedures like health and safety and non-discrimination, but we're very linear. We don't have hierarchy. We don't have any employees. Everybody's a contractor or a volunteer. So there's pros and cons to everything, right? So the good part of it is there's very little bureaucracy, so we get things done quickly. But then when you try to get funding from major sources, they expect you to have all of these things in place, like this major board that meets on a regular basis and takes minutes and things that we don't do, right? So there's downfalls to what we do, and there's positives to everything in life. But the fact that we keep things really non-bureaucratic is really beneficial because you see a lot of other programs and the government tries to put programs in place, and they spend so much time on the red tape stuff that the program ends up getting suffering. And a lot of times the pilot program is shut down. Pacts, we've been running with very little money since 2001. And we've never we've never had to close any of our programs because of funding. So it shows you that we're doing something right. We focus on what we do well, and then we partner with other agencies to do things that they do well. Because you can't do everything. You can't be experts in everything, right? And youth employment services, yes. So we work with them really closely. So youth that want to get more experience with their resumes come to our projects, and then when the youth go through our projects and they're ready to find a job, we send them back. So it's sort of like a symbiotic relationship. They send us youth, we help them, and then when they're ready to actually for a job, we send them back to yes, and they get a job counselor, and they go through the interview preparation and all that kind of stuff.
My name is Freddie King, artist name King. How I found the Pact program was pretty. I guess I would say it was just one of those moments where I went to Career Foundations and I was looking for employment, and I gave them my resume and the contact, and they just started emailing me some random stuff. Then I got in the email Pact Films, and I thought, Pact Films, film project. Shoot, hopefully couple years from now I could do a music video. So I volunteered, wrote some scripts, did a few commercials, made commercials out of my poems, brought life to words basically. And working along Paul, Nick, and Andrew, I got that chance at the show like an artistic side of me. So I think the Pact program is really great. Instead of people that broken the law go to jail, they come here, and they actually get to see there's actually something good that could come out of a downfall. So me coming from an incarceration of 2 years, I think I would have rather done this than to do those 2 years.
Unison is this really amazing Unison Health and Community Services. They're in Lawrence Heights. They have this amazing kitchen, so we're launching a program there. We formally work with the TDSB with our gardens, so that's a partnership with us. Another one that we partner with a lot is Frontier College. They offer a GED, high school literacy program. A lot of our youth are out of school. So helping them, a lot of their goals are to get back into school or to get high school equivalency. So there's a free tutoring GED preparation at Frontier, which is amazing. The YMCA is a huge partner of ours. They give us space to run our coaching program, to run our film program. You guys are there, right? The film program downtown?
It was kind of exciting was we had a nurse from New Zealand visiting us for the last 2 years. She'd come over every year and follow us around for a week and watch our youth making films. It was really fun, and she was a really neat lady. She decided that she wanted to use the Pact program model in New Zealand to work with their youth at risk. So one of the first projects we did is I went over to New Zealand for 3 weeks and worked with their group, youth group there, and they're supported by their youth justice, and the courts there are supporting the Pact program. And what was really interesting was where I was working with the Maori kids. So they're the indigenous kids from New Zealand, and they had a lot of the same problems that kids I found in Toronto had. Being labeled gangsters, drug dealers, drug users. If there's trouble, oh, they're Maori, they're always up to no good. So it was kind of interesting to see that stereotypes. So it was neat to see that the program can work, the Pact program can work anywhere. And having successfully done 3 movies or 4 movies now in New Zealand, we're going to bring kids from New Zealand up to work with our kids in Toronto and also do an exchange back so that they can share their experiences. Because a lot of the kids in New Zealand were, they were really into the rap music. They had their own culture to it. So that was kind of interesting. And another thing we hope to do is working with the Maori youth is also connect to the Indigenous people of the First Nation people of Canada. And so that we'll have an Indigenous people from the Maori working with the First Nations and doing a film school that way. So there's no white people involved. So that seems to be a very exciting project we're hoping to accomplish very soon.
$5,000 pays for one youth to go through our really intensive coaching program. So this is a program for the kids that are in serious trouble with the law, and the ones that are going in and out of jail. They've got a 4 or 5 page rap sheet already. These are the ones that are they're going to become career criminals, right? They have an unstable environment. They're probably abusing on their home. They're living in an area where there's a lot of temptations, issues, and every time they get out of jail, they go back to that same environment. They end up back where they were. So it's like this rotating door thing, right? So, cycle. So, $5,000 we pay for one of our coaches to work with the youth for a year to take them from where they are now, hopefully to get them to another place where they're not, where we broke the cycle.
Could you tell us about what your work involves?
Well, my work involves working with youth, anywhere from 13 to 17, and a lot of my work is slightly a bit different than most coaching modalities, I guess. Working with youth involves a little bit of mentorship. So coaching on a pure level is asking a lot of questions, prompting conversations and that, but relationship building and designing alliance with youth. So it's whatever whatever you bring to the goal setting, it's what their wants and needs. And sometimes in the coaching, a lot of it's trust.